So, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a peek inside the amazing brain webinar for grade levels 3 through 5. I hope you enjoy our session today. I hope you find it informative. The chat box is open. So if there's questions or any thoughts or observations as we go along, then you have that option to use the chat box to communicate. And I will certainly leave some room at the end of this session today so that we can do a quick Q&A for anything that comes up as we go through this session. Hi, I'm Jill. Hopefully you've met me before, and if you haven't, I'm the Director of PD at Pure Edge Inc. And I've been in this role for, I think, almost 14 years. So Pure Edge, just a quick reminder that we are a private operating foundation. So we try to give back to the world of education without charging for our services. So like some of our webinars are free. All of the resources that I'm going to introduce you to today and any other resources on our website are all absolutely free. There is no charge for using any of our curriculum or our videos or our materials. But when we do in-person sessions, we do charge for in-person PD sessions with partnerships. So feel free to connect with me if you'd like any information regarding PD sessions or any kind of partnership with Pure Edge. You can take a screenshot of this or write it down. That's my contact information, jill@pureedgeinc.org. Get in touch if you have, if you would like to make a connection or if you have some questions for the team at Pure Edge. So today we're taking a look at this wonderful curriculum that was born out of our Pure Power, a peek inside the amazing brain. Why would we not want to look inside a child's amazing brain? And I've been so lucky of late to work with a lot of students from pre-K all the way up to 12th grade, discussing exactly this content, a peek inside the amazing brain. Kids find the neuroscience around their brain really interesting. And something that I've learned this past year is that kids are really able to tell me very articulately what they need to take care of their bodies. And they know about exercise, they know about hydration, they know about sleep, even at a very young age. It's amazing to me how informed they are about their own physical well-being. But actually, when I ask them some questions around their brain, you'd be surprised how little they thought about taking care of their brain, or actually what their brain does in terms of supporting their well-being, how the brain and the body are connected. So we'll also have a little look at some implementation strategies for this curriculum, what will work best for you. We're going to try and be very realistic around that. I want to jump into the website. I'm hoping my Wi-Fi will play ball today, and I'm going to show you where to find the resources that you'll need for a peek inside the amazing brain. And we will do a couple of brain breaks because why would we not? It's what we are all about. It's really important that we also remember our own well-being when we think about the well-being of our kiddos. So let's start with a super simple yet wonderfully effective mindful minute. Sit comfortably wherever you are. Eyes can be opened or closed, you choose. And just relax through your shoulders, your face, your neck, and your jaw. And what I'd like you to do is, first of all, notice your heartbeat. What does your heartbeat actually feel like right now? Is your heart beating fast or slow? Where do you kind of notice it most? And now check in with your breathing. Are you breathing all the way down into your abdomen? Perhaps you're breathing more around your collarbone. your chest, your shoulders. Notice your breath around your nostrils. Is it warm or cool? And then check in with you. How do you feel right now in this moment? Are you tired, curious, excited, mad, sad, angry, frustrated? Maybe you're tired or thirsty or hungry. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong feeling. It's just noticing how you feel, paying attention to you. And if your eyes were closed, just open them and just for a moment, notice how you feel. I'm hoping that it felt quite nice to start this session with focusing on yourself first. We're so often asked to focus on content. And so it's nice always before you tackle something new, something different, a learning experience, and we talk about this with the kids, right? To take a little bit of time to hit the reset button is very helpful when we think about caring for our brain. So all of the resources that I will share with you today, you perhaps have an account already to access our resources, but if not, you go to pureedgeinc.org. I've put up a little QR code if you find that slightly easier, and you'll set up an account using your work email address and set up a password, and then you're going to be able to access all of our, and I'll say it again, free resources, everything that you might be interested in. There'll be no charge whatsoever. So this is a question that we find in the 3 through 5 peak in the Amazing Brain curriculum. It's something we ask the kids, but I figured, why not ask you? You're here today to be inquisitive about this curriculum. Does your brain, and you can use the chat box, does your brain require downtime? What do you reckon? Does your brain require downtime? Okay, I will, in the interest of our time, I will move on. What is downtime? What does that actually mean when we say that word? What is downtime? Sharon says, downtime is needed. It's needed. It's rest and restore. 100%, right? I agree with you. It's needed very much so in our lives, in our somewhat busy lives. And yes, what it does is help us restore. Downtime is not necessarily the art of doing nothing. Hi, Etty. Oh, yes, I'll come to that at the end. Okay, Etty. Etty's looking for to access the resources. Absolutely. I'll target that when we come to questions. Laura saying, for me, it's when your brain isn't active as it usually is when you sleep or meditate. Yes, I think downtime is often confused with doing something that you find relaxing. So downtime is not watching television. It's not doing something on our phone or devices. It's actually potentially not reading a book. It's what we did at the very start of this session. It's a mindful minute. It's where you take time to just notice what's going on with you, right? You take time for your brain to, I guess, switch off and somewhat switch back on again. And generally, when we give our brain some downtime, it feels pretty good. It's more responsive. It's more able to do the things that we want it to do. It's getting to do really nothing, which actually, oddly, as human beings, we find that quite hard to do, to be doing nothing. So yes, quiet meditation, I agree. And quiet meditation can also be tricky to find. So what we like to try and emphasize here is that it doesn't necessarily need to be a darkened room. You don't necessarily need to be meditating, although if you have access to that during your day, wonderful, use it and enjoy it. You can also have some downtime from your brain, even in the busiest of situations, in a train station or in an airport, in a busy school, in a classroom, right? So let's try taking another great strategy for our brain's downtime. And this is belly heart breathing. So wherever you're at, sitting as comfortably as you can, one hand on your tummy, one hand on your heart. I like to have both feet grounded on the floor. I know you can't see my feet right now, but I'm sitting up tall. There's sort of nothing around to restrict my spine or my breathing. And for all of these strategies that we do, your eyes can be opened or closed. You choose. It's entirely up to you. So what I'd like you to do is take a breath in through your nose and slowly and gently breathe out through your nose. Slow, steady breath in. Slow, steady breath out. Relax your shoulders, your face, your neck. Take a breath in and a breath out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, paying attention to your jaw, your face. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's just do two more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Breath in. Breath out. Just relax your hands. If your eyes were closed, open them. And for a moment, just observe. Notice how you feel. So this is interesting when we talk about understanding the brain, this peek inside the amazing brain for little kids. And if you were with Erin last week, she looked at pre-K through 2, and she'll be with us next week for 6 through 12. But look at this, isn't this incredible? By the age of 6, a child's brain is 95% of an adult brain. Just think of the amount of learning and development and growth that is happening in those first 6 years of life. Is it any wonder that kids aren't interested and intrigued by all the changes and developments that are happening for them? So this Peek Inside the Amazing Brain curriculum has some really good components. There's the neuroscience lesson content, right? All this wonderful information, this learning for, or this understanding for kids about how amazing their brain is and what it actually does. Oftentimes kids just assume that their brain just keeps them going, right? Keeps them functioning. And once they learn all the little finer details, they're very intrigued. Our Peek Inside the Amazing Brain is supported by mindful movement sequences. And towards the end of this session, I'm going to show you how to access videos for the mindful movement sequences, which are just fab. There's 8 lessons and they take approximately 30 minutes each. And just remember, when you leave here today, you can tweak that to suit yourself and the environment that you're hoping to deliver this information in. What you'll find when we start to look into how to access this, you've got a curriculum manual. The curriculum at each age level comes with a reflection journal and is supported by these great mindful movement videos, in which we have longer versions and shorter versions. And you'll find when you go online that these are available in both English and in Spanish, which is great. So this Unit 5 outline looks at, so the students, this is what they're going to look at. They're going to look at the principle of neuroplasticity, development, growth of the brain. They're also going to look at how to train the brain to facilitate learning. They're also going to understand basic brain science, which is going to really help them understand why they feel and do and have the impulses that they have. And within the curriculum, there's wonderful strategies to help them manage these impulses, these strong emotions, including anger, fear, frustration, concentration and so on. You can read, but it's really helpful for kids to understand that they're not the only ones that feel strong emotions, and they're not the only ones that have impulses. And so this unit really helps them do a journey of discovery around all of this information. So the resources will look like this when you go online, and I'm hopefully going to jump onto our website now. So you'll find the 3 through 5 unit, A Peek Inside the Amazing Brain, and you'll find the reflection journal online, which supports that curriculum. So let me stop sharing my screen now. I'm being brave, Erin, I want you to know. Erin will laugh at that. So, and now I'm hopefully going to share my screen again. Oh, here we go. Yeah, she said being brave. Share this one. Yay, looks like we can see it. So this is me on our actual website live in this moment, and I'm logged in. So I have already set up an account. You can see in the right-hand corner there, it's saying if I need to log out. So when you open up and sign up, this is what you'll get. This is how it looks when you first access. And in order to find our youth information, you're going to go up to the top row, click on Youth and English, and there you go. You've got all of our resources here. At the top, there's this super handy select which language you want to use in English and in Spanish for the moment, and then which of our curriculum you're looking for. So today we're doing A Peek Inside the Amazing Brain. So I'm going to click there, which is going to allow me to access the Peek Inside the Amazing Brain content, and it's laid out by grade level. Super simple, super simple. So grades 3 through 5 is where we're at today. And when we click on that, you will see down here that it says 3 through 5 downloads. There's the mini unit. Okay, that's the unit I showed you the screenshot of, the reflection journal to support that, and the video. So when we click mini unit, here we have the unit and all its information. So we have the cover of lesson 1. Remember, 8 lessons, each one designed to be delivered over 30 minutes or less. And you know what's nice about this is that you could do this 1 day a week. You could do it 1 day a month. You could do it every day. So you can sort of choose your delivery timeline for this curriculum, which I think is really useful. Every one of the lessons comes with a description and outline. And you can see here that there's learning objectives, essential questions, and understandings that are going to help you in your delivery of the curriculum. Now, let me scoot down. I like lesson 2, but if we only get to lesson 1, it's just fine. Okay, here's lesson 1. There's any new vocabulary that your students may encounter when you teach this lesson. And then there's guiding questions with every lesson. Now you'll see there's quite a lot. We wouldn't envisage that you'd be using all of these questions. The idea is to perhaps pick 1 or maybe 2 that help you deliver the content that you've chosen to deliver on that day. The connection piece, of course, is connecting one lesson to another. So some previous content that you used, then how does that travel into this next lesson? There's the teaching piece, so the part that you're going to deliver new information, we imagine, to your students. And then after that, we also have this lovely piece that involves active engagement. So we're really getting the kids engaged in all the information that you're giving them, engaged in all the information. And if you just note to the side of that, there's the movement pieces that are included in this lesson. So dark blue, now this is lesson 1, so everything's dark blue, are new postures. And the ones that have asterisks are optional. So that's how you would manage to have a shorter sequence or a longer sequence. And so this is what you'll find online. Now you can download this if that's easier for you, or you can have it live on your smartboard or in your classroom. And then of course you're going to have a link where we just go over what we did and how that's going to take us forward into our next learning session. So it's very easy, as you can see, easy to access and simply laid out for you to just really get going with it. Yes, you're going to have to read over the material, but in terms of active engagement, we have that mini unit and that reflection journal that's going to give you access to some resources. So let me just pop that up just so you can see. So here's the Unit 2 reflection journal. There's things that you can be doing. Here's this journal belongs to, a log of what you were doing, and activities and information. So this is actually taken from the curriculum about the development, the neuroplasticity, the neurons in the brain. So there's lots of great information that supports all the content that you have in the curriculum. And if I can manage to make this work, the last thing I'll show you is the video library. So here you have the video libraries. You can see they're broken down into each lesson. So this is the movement piece that goes with each lesson. The short or long, so that would be the long one has all of the postures in it, and the short one has the ones without the asterisks in there. So that's our curriculum absolutely live. So yeah, thinking about implementation, that's always useful, right? How are you going to deliver this curriculum? Well, be consistent, that's helpful. So however you decide to do it, is it something you do once a week? Is it something you do twice a week? Is it something you can only do once every 2 weeks because you're a teacher that doesn't see your kids every day? Thinking about that. You can split up the content and the movement. So it might well be that you're perhaps a classroom teacher and you deliver the content, and a health teacher, a wellness teacher, a PE teacher, maybe it's a counsellor or school social worker delivers the movement piece. That absolutely works fine. It is important to remember, though, this isn't all about delivering content. The movement is there for a reason, because what we're giving the kids is the strategies to help them understand their emotions, self-management, self-regulation. And so we feel like, yes, it's great to teach it and give them all that information, but also we want to give them strategies that help them deal with things that they're going to face in their life, right? Help them have the ability to cope. You know, it's interesting, the neuroscience around all of this, the neuroscience around our brain is really, really clear. How we think is affected by how we feel. And so if we're having this conversation with kids about how they manage their emotions, what emotions are, how the brain deals with emotions, how we have impulses, then it just helps kids' ability to be more comfortable in the field of learning, right? Their brain feels more ready to learn, and so do they. So let's end this session with a very simple rest strategy. I love this. It's just called Rest Your Eyes. It gives you a moment to have some more downtime. So just taking your palms and rubbing them together really quickly so you get some heat through the palm of your hands. And once your palm of your hands are nice and warm, you're going to take your hands and just cup them over your eyes. And we're just going to hold our hands there just for a moment or two, just allowing the warmth of the hands to kind of relax the eyes and rest the face. And then let's do that one more time. So rubbing the hands together, create some really nice heat. And then once they're nice and toasty, place them over your eyes. Breathe slow, steady, even breaths, and just enjoy. And then just relax your hands. And for a moment, just notice how you feel. I like that strategy. It makes me extremely happy. So we've got a couple of minutes left. Over to you. Let's use the chat box, since how Jessie got that enabled for us and we're up and running. Do you have any questions, any thoughts, any observations? Tell me, are you going to leave this webinar, go onto our website, set up an account, and maybe have a peek inside your amazing brain?